Get him, get him.
Oh my God!
Calm down. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Oh, yeah, dude!
Dude.
6 pounds, 11 ounces. Oh,
2 points. Oh my. Limp! That's what I've been waiting for all day.
that's over 6.
True. And that one's,
Oh, here he goes.
go. Good?
That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail, yeah, it looks sick. Good to go.
Look how broad that thing is.
I wonder if that was the one that followed me in.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Holy God. What a beast.
Oh, wow. That might be a 4. That might be a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off too. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy.
Another good one.
Holy sh! What the? Is that another 6?
Could be.
It's the second giant of the day, proving that point. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yes!
Big baits, big fish. There we go. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Beauty! Dude, I'm not even joking. It happened again.
You kidding me?
Nope.
Is it big?
Oh! That's strong.
Oh, wow.
That's a fat fish, dude.
4.
Holy. Dude. Holy hell, that's long.
Yeah, it is.
5, 4, 6. What?
Yeah. Just rock.
Got him. Get in here, you. There's another 6. You. That's a big fish.
6'10". Woo-hoo-hoo. Big old fatty.
Oh, I hit the wrong thing
That
all
was-
across the board.
what's
My
a year
bad.
do?
That mutes them. Headphones.
Oh.
I know, very strange. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hi, everybody.
Jabberhammer. How we doing? Bass and Brews in the house.
Bass and Brews. Guess what I had for dinner last night?
Oh, come on.
I'm not even kidding.
Did you really have ham salad
Swear
last
to
night?
God, I swear to God, I did.
I want you guys to know the show we did with Bass and Brews, and they asked the question like, "What's your favorite food?" And he said ham salad. They're like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Every time we stop at the gas station, he gets it. He's like, "It's for you, Jabber." Oh God. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Thank you for joining in tonight. We are waiting on Jake to show up. He did say he would be here shortly. I don't know exactly how much longer he'll be, but he did say he'll be here relatively soon. So we will get the ball rolling eventually here. One thing that I do want to do is while everybody's here, obviously thank you very much for showing up. As always, we greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, please drop a like on the stream because it helps immensely. Whether you're watching here on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, either way, it doesn't matter. It does do wondrous things. I'm going to put the Shopify link up in there. Oh, hang on. Let me get him in here.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, man.
Hey.
I'm trying to
in
work
the
on my
chat.
camera angle here.
All right, figure it out. I'll buy you a minute. So pin it up in the stream chat. I don't know if it's not going to show up on Facebook, but it'll show up on YouTube for anybody interested. Our Shopify storefront has been updated with all the stuff that was left over from the stream. So if you're interested in getting a t-shirt or hat, because that's all I have, we sold out of hoodies, by all means, grab it. I did get a couple of orders over the weekend. I apologize for not getting those out yet. Ran out of boxes and didn't realize it. Went to go do it, and neither one of us had time to go. My wife did it today. So those will be packed and shipped out first thing tomorrow morning, and they should all arrive to everybody probably either Friday or Saturday at the latest because everybody's pretty regional anyway relative to us. So, again, if you're interested, it's up there. I pinned the link to the Shopify storefront. By all means, head to it. Hit it if you want. No pressure. And another reminder, we will not be at the New Hampshire Outdoor Show. I was going to try and be there for Friday for that, but ultimately decided I'm not going to be able to make it at all. With work travel and everything I have to do to prep and plan for this trip, plus want to spend more time with my family before I'm gone for a week, it's just not going to work out. So no New Hampshire show for either one of these guys. Most unfortunate. If anybody's on the fence about going, don't be. You absolutely should. Last year was insane. I know the year before, a lot of people complained that it was a little bit light on vendors. That was absolutely not the case last year. There was an insane amount of people there. Every vendor I talked to at the end of the show said that they did wonderful. I talked to a ton of people that had come through, and they all said that they were extremely happy with the number of vendors that were there, so they felt like they got their money's worth when they showed up. There's going to be a ton of people there. Ben's Tackle Shack, namely, they're going to be there. They're going to have a ton of stuff, so if you're interested, head down there. I know that Fishy AF is going to be there. Rocky Ledge Tackle, probably Sematis, Andrew's old former employer, Southern Valley Motorsports will be there. Bass Fishing Electronics is not going to be there. So you're going to have to go directly to the store if you want.
Yeah,
anything.
you just got to come see us.
You got to go see Brian and Andrew.
Yeah.
Same with
Actually,
Brian
you
in the
guys
chat.
should all call tomorrow because Brian is actually taking care of the phones because Steve's away.
Tomorrow is a great day to
Tomorrow,
call for all your
yeah.
general questions. Oh, I forgot
Wednesday
about that.
through Friday, we just warm them phones up. Come on.
Actually, I forgot about that. I was talking to Robbie at On the Water Magazine. Wrote an article for them. And
For
he
who?
said he's good for On the Water Bass. And then he read it, and he liked it, and it's going to go up in the newsletter. It's pretty dope.
Cool.
Yeah. And so anyway, we were talking, and he was like, hey, actually, I got a question about boat stuff. Can I ask Andrew? I was like, ask him or ask Steve. So he said he was going to call Steve, and I totally forgot to tell him Steve was on vacation.
Yeah, he's on vacation.
That's okay. He can talk to you or Brian. He'll get the questions answered regardless. Moving on. All right, Jake, how you making out, buddy?
How's it going, man? I'm trying to get a better camera angle than I had in the Bass and Brews podcast, and I got
Yeah.
some light bulbs now, so
There you
it
go.
should be better in here.
Lighting actually looks fine.
It was rough on the last one.
Well, I already forgot who it was. Someone in the chat said, like, hopefully he got some bulbs. And Andrew and I, this before we even started the stream, we're looking at each other. What the hell are they talking
What
about?
the hell is a bulb? Am I missing something here?
Yeah, my buddy Andrew is an electrician. I'm gonna have to get him to come over and do some work for me.
There you go.
That ain't me. Well, kind of.
Yeah, you can do anything. Anyway, man, how you been?
How's it going, man? Still feel like I'm in a dream, man. It's been a crazy weekend for sure.
I
That's
bet.
awesome. Congratulations, by the
Yeah.
way.
Thank you.
Congrats
man.
are
Thank
absolutely
you.
in order. That was a stacked tournament. What was it? 258 kayaks?
Something like that, yeah.
That's insane. Well, we're going to ask you some questions about how the whole thing went, and I'm sure the chat is going to have a lot more questions to ask you in the end as well. I know you put up some posts, so you shared some of this information anyway, but I'm curious. Let's start from the beginning. How early before the tournament did you get down there to like start scouting, and like what was the cutoff on that? Because I'm not familiar with the kayak series, though the Bass kayak series, what their rules are for like official practice period and cutoff and all that.
I think you have a week to practice. I drove down on Wednesday, so I practiced on Thursday and Friday.
Nice. All right. So I'm trying to think. Obviously, you won. Like, that's known pretty well at this point by everybody. What I'm curious about, did you find, like, your pattern during that the 2 days of practice? Like, did you in those 2 days, did you, like, figure out, like, yeah, no, this is probably going to work? Or did your pattern for success kind of develop throughout the tournament?
I found what I thought was some good stuff in practice, but I ended up catching most of my fish off of a spot that I didn't really fish in practice, but I had fished it in years past.
No shit.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Dude, that's almost how almost every person wins, regardless of what kind of tournament it is or what level. Almost every time when you talk to them, it's like, yeah, I ended up finding something like not what I anticipated or it was off the beaten path. Like that's almost always the guy that wins is doing something like that. But just being willing to go out and continue to look for things like that and make the most of it when you find it, like, dude, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. You got to follow your gut, man. I always try to follow my gut the best I can.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
I mean,
Doesn't usually pan out for me.
Sometimes it doesn't work, but this time, luckily, it did.
it worked out fine for us at our last tournament. Worked
Yeah,
great. We just
yeah,
followed our
no.
gut on that. We had nothing in our boat. It was borrowing my dad's boat.
You had
Like,
more electronics on your kayak than we had on the boat.
I had 2D sonar. That was it.
And
We
a
didn't
trolling motor. That was about it.
We didn't have working live wells. We were using the weigh-in bag to keep refilling it. We just were like,
yeah.
screw it, follow our gut. Let's go have fun. And it worked out pretty well.
That's awesome.
I already saw a comment. People want to see the trophy. I'm curious too. I'll make it bigger. Bring that trophy in. We want to see it like blown up in person.
This is my son right here.
Is it gonna let me do this? There we go. Hang on.
Wait, wrong one.
Bring it around. There it is.
There it is.
There she is.
Dude, that looks friggin' awesome.
Hell yeah, I'd be sleeping with that thing.
I did the last 2 nights, or the 2 nights before I did. When I stayed in the hotel, I was scared to leave it in my car. I was like, dude, no one's taking that from me. If they're taking it from me, they're taking it from my hands.
Yeah, right? That's sick, dude. Congrats again.
It's awesome, man. Still surreal.
I like how they did that with it, though. Hang on, sorry. Trying to manage multiple things here at one time. I like how they did that because it looks very similar to like the iconic, regular Elite Series trophies, but it's still unique in its own for the Kayak series. So that's a sexy trophy. Damn, dude, I want a blue trophy.
I love it, man. I want another one already. I need a second one.
Yeah, you need a little brother.
I need that classic trophy next.
So, tell me a little bit more about like how I guess like the whole event went and your first like aha moment on what you're doing. And as we're kind of going along here, there's like a ton of questions in the chat already. So I got my buddy in the background. He's managing it. We'll just have him pop them up and we'll start addressing them on the way. But let's start with like kind of the beginning of like what was that first turning point where you're like, oh shit, I know what the hell's going on and I'm on them. Let's go.
I don't know if I ever really felt like that, but I caught one early off a boat ramp. Like I started on this point. It ended up being mostly striper there, it seemed like. So I moved off there pretty quickly. There's a boat ramp that I fished in the past. I hit that. I got like a 17. And I was crossing. You'll see in my YouTube video, I was working on it, editing earlier. I was crossing the lake going to the area I ended up starting on day 2. And I literally just got this voice in my head from my buddy John who passed. And I just heard it. And it was like, hit that island with the chatterbait. And at first it took me a second or two. I was like, wait, like, what was that? Like, but I knew what it was. So I was like, okay. And I had already way past the island. But I was like, you know what? That was too distinct of a voice for me to not listen to it. So I ended up turning around. I had a 1/2 ounce chatterbait tied on. I cut that off. I put the 3/4 ounce chatterbait on. And yeah, I was watching in the YouTube video. It took less than 10 minutes of fishing that island, and I caught a 21-incher. Then about 20 minutes later, I caught a 22-incher. And I was like, whoa, now I got to dissect this island. So I hit it a bunch more with the chatterbait, nothing. I picked up the tactical crank, and literally my first cast with it, like 2 cranks in, a 19.5 grabs it. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, so then I kept fishing the tactical crank for a little bit, no more bites. I pick up the DT10, and like my second cast with that, I catch, I think it was like an 18 something. And at that point, I had 99 3/4. So I was like, whoa, like I got to leave this for tomorrow. Like winning on the first day doesn't mean anything in this tournament.
Right.
So I left. I tried to find something else because I didn't want to burn that other area that I was originally heading to. So I was like, let me see if I can find something else. I still wanted to hit 100 inches because that would have been cool. But I ended up not getting another bite for the rest of the day, which was a little bit concerning at first because I was like, oh, man, like I don't know how I feel about tomorrow. But it ended up working out.
That's awesome.
That's freaking phenomenal. So Scott, one of our longtime regular viewers here, wants to know what kayak you're running and how is it set up, motor storage, everything. That's always like such a phenomenal question for not only bass guys, especially kayak guys, because I feel like with your limited space compared to a bass boat, there's a lot more creative setups on each kayak. So like this is always a very interesting question. Bass boat's kind of mundane. It's almost the same thing over and over again. But kayak guys, they get unique.
Well, I have a Hobie Outback 12-foot. I don't have a motor on there. I have a pedal drive, and I have my Helix 7, which was very important. And I have the Hobie crate, and I added some extra rod holders so I can bring about 10 rods if I need to. I was only bringing about 8 during the tournament. I'm not the greatest with knowing everything about kayaks. Like, I'm more just like a fisherman, like, so I don't have anything really fancy on my kayak.
Well, that's
Honestly, you don't need
good.
it. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah. What do you have for electronics on there? Anything?
I
So
have
there was
a
another
Helix,
comment about forward-facing sonar.
I have a Helix 7, and I have a Lowrance Active Target. It's in my room still. I didn't bring that with me to the tournament.
Well, you didn't need it apparently.
No.
No, because I felt like I had it last year at Murray in 2023, and I feel like it was just a big distraction for me. Like, I was more looking for fish on my electronics instead of actually fishing, and I feel like I didn't want to do that this year, so I just left it at home.
Nope, dude, that was honestly the right call. And we had the benefit of fishing with other friends that had it on their boat before I got on my boat, and just like asking general questions, not necessarily like, hey, how do you use it and like how are you using it and all that, but like what do you like about it, what don't you like about it? Those were always my kind of questions. And that was one of the most common things everybody said was like, dude, I can get lost in this. And I'll sit there and I'll stare at it and I'll chase fish all day, but I'm staring versus feeling for what's going on and reading the room, as it were, for lack of a better way to put it, and really understanding like what is happening and paying attention to every cast, what happened during that cast, because you just get so honed in on the screen. And one of our really good friends has got burned by that twice in a tournament that we fished with him, and finished against him. And he said the same thing both times, like, dude, I got stuck staring at that screen all day. And we were like, yeah, we just fished.
It sucks seeing fish just follow your bait. They run right up to it. They get to the point where it like merges with the bait, and then they still don't bite. And it's like, what am I doing wrong? And that's
you're like,
I think I would overthink
the
it.
rod
Like,
to
I'll
see
be
if you're
changing
feeling
baits, changing colors.
Well, you know what though? At least in that case, there's more days where they're chasing it, unlike us this past Sunday, where like literally every cast, these fish were running. Like, it was probably the most infuriating thing that we ran into. We didn't even want to stare at the thing.
I was also slapping giant baits across the top of their head.
Yeah, but I was throwing a 3-inch bait on a friggin' 1/10 ounce, no, a 2.8-inch bait on a 1/10 ounce head.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching the fish still run away from that the moment it hit the water.
I had one follower, and that was about it.
Oh yeah, the big bait. On the that was on the Defiant, right? That one? No, that was the depths.
Might have been the depths.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. We went to that point, to the rocks, and you started. I can remember watching you swim it, and I thought it was the depths.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, there's that one fish following it, and then like this like cluster of 20 bait came off the bottom with it.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap! That was literally the only action we saw that was positive reaction the whole day. I don't know. We digress.
You did better than us.
Yes, you did.
I've been there. I know what it's like to stare at the screen and just watch. The first day I ever took it out, the lake was half frozen, and I'm throwing a glide bait and an A-rig, and I'm just watching fish shoot and follow for 50 feet. It's like, this is the opposite of what the Book of Bass Fishing told us. Like, we thought they don't move a foot and when it's freezing cold like that. But half of the lake's frozen, they're following my bait for 50 feet. Like, it's definitely eye-opening technology.
Yep. I did see another question there was massing and bassing. What are you using for the chatterbait and the DD? I know you said you switched to 3/4 ounce, but are you using like jackhammer or the OG chatterbait, and what were you throwing for a trailer and all that? I want to hear the colors and everything. Actually, I say I want to hear that, but I have to step out for a minute, so you can take over for a second.
Yeah, I was using the 3/4 jackhammer, spot remover color with a 4.8 Hog Farmer spunk shad on the back. I think it was like Tennessee shad color. It was like a shaddy color spunk shad.
That's sexy. So we kind of bring it back a little bit. How did you start fishing? Like, where did you grow up fishing? Did you just recently start fishing within the last few years?
No, I mean, I've been fishing. My uncle took me once when I was 4 years old, and I was just hooked instantly. I mean, that's all I ever wanted to do ever since, really.
Yeah.
But I started from the bank mostly. I mean, I didn't grow up with a boat or a kayak or anything like that. So I was fishing from the bank till I was like 20. And then I finally got my first kayak. And then ever since then, I mean, I've just been doing as many kayak tournaments as I could.
How many kayaks have you gone through?
I started with a Field and Stream Blade, like a 9.5 foot sit-in. Then I went to an Ascend 12T. with a little Garmin Striker 4 on it. And then I got the kayak I have now, the Hobie Outback.
And it looks like you put some money into that thing. It's all wrapped and pretty, and
Yeah, the wrap I didn't pay for, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's pretty anymore. I kind of beat the crap out of that wrap.
so for how many was it? 2 days, right? What would you say your go-to bait was, other than the chatterbait?
I mean, I caught him on a couple different baits. The tactical crank was the only one that I really caught him on both days, but I had to switch colors. The wobblehead, like a 3/4 ounce wobblehead with a rage crawl, is what I didn't start with that technically. I tried to get him on the crank, and I went through a couple rock piles, and they weren't biting the crank for whatever reason. So I went back through with the wobblehead and got 4. None of them were very big, but it was at least it settled me in. It gave me a little bit of confidence. It was like, okay, at least now I have a couple fish on the board, and now I can kind of look for bigger bites. And then that's kind of when I locked that tactical crank in my hand. I did get one more on the chatterbait the next day, but I think it was like a 16 something. I'm not sure if that helped or not. I think it might have, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, off the wall. What's your favorite snack on the water?
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky. What kind?
I love Jack Links, but they're pretty expensive, so I usually get the the Walmart brand or the knockoff brand.
Dude, I bring. God, we stop at the store probably twice in the morning on the way in, and I grab probably 3 or 4 things at each store. And then I go to Dunkin' Donuts, get a coffee and probably a breakfast sandwich and everything else. I have to have food on the boat no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to have food on the boat throughout the day?
I wouldn't say I need to, but I would say that I usually try to, because if it gets to be like 6, 8, 10, 12 hours in and you don't have food, your mind just isn't as focused.
Right.
Like, you can try as hard as you can, but it's just hard to stay as focused when you're real hungry, because I know that feeling. I mean, I've been out there a lot of times 12, 14 hours without eating anything.
Right.
And I've learned that lesson. I try to at least bring like small snacks with me, like granola bars, pistachios, even candy, just something to give you like some brain power towards the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, you definitely need that. Especially in tournaments where when you stop catching fish for a little while and your brain just starts just going and going and going.
Just spinning.
Dude, that's when I start eating stuff, and it kind of calms me down a little bit, and then you kind of get your head back into it. And all right, let's start fishing again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to see if we have any other questions in here. Okay. What is it about the conditions that inspire you to use those baits from Footy Fan?
Well, when it was super windy on day one, especially around like 12 or 10 or 11 o'clock. So that's why I switched to the chatterbait, especially like that heavier chatterbait. I can cast it real easily into the wind, and fishing with that yo-yo technique, I can keep a good contact with it, even though my kayak's getting pushed real hard by the wind. So a lot of baits, it gets hard to stay in contact with when your kayak's moving around so much with the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. I had a John boat. It's terrible. It's worse than a kayak.
Yeah.
I could only imagine. So you don't have a trolling motor or a spot lock or anything, so you must be sitting there pedaling away, right?
Yeah, trying to keep my kayak from getting too sideways, because I hate being sideways in the wind.
Do you ever just park it up against the bank and hope for the best?
I have a power pole. I mean, I barely ever use it. I like using it for the to measure the fish. Like, I'll power pole down and just measure the fish so I don't end up a mile down the lake. But very rarely would you ever see me just parked up on the bank unless I'm measuring a fish.
You ever flipped?
No, not fishing. The first time I ever went in the kayak, I wasn't fishing, and I went on this kayak trail. I was probably like 13. It was in the Coucoules Creek, and I came around a bend, and there was a log laying across the whole creek, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. I'd never been in that situation, so I tried to turn around, but if you know the Coucoules Creek, there's way too much current to turn around. So I ended up hitting the log sideways, flipping, losing my phone, my wallet, keys, whatever I had was gone. My glasses were gone. Like, luckily, I got the kayak back. But ever since then, knock on wood, I haven't flipped. I have fell out of my kayak being an idiot, but I never flipped it. Like
I've almost fallen out of the boat.
One time, it was real bad. I never told
times.
this story. I probably only told like Jake Angeles this story. I was fishing one time. It was February. Every lake was frozen except this one lake. It was super shallow and muddy. And I seen a spinnerbait up in the tree. And I was like, oh, man, I got to get that spinnerbait. Man, that thing looks nice. And the wind was blowing probably like 30.
Oh, God.
But I got like a nice little calm, like stretch in the wind. So I was standing up. I'm trying to like sort through the branches, trying to grab this spinnerbait. And a super gust of wind comes and it's pushing me. So I just grabbed the branch and the kayak just like gets swooped up from under me. I fell in. Oh, man. It was like getting stabbed by a million fucking knives. Like, it hurt so bad.
I know, I've been there.
So
Yeah,
it's cold.
It was like 35 degrees. My whole body froze up. Like, I could barely move at first. Like, I felt like the Michelin Man with all the clothes I had on. But luckily, I was fine.
So you missed a little bit.
Yeah, it could not be helped. I apologize.
That's all right.
Trust me, I wanted to not be helped, but hey, we had to take care of business.
Had a meeting.
Oh, that's a good one. What was your rod and reel setup for the tournament?
I used a couple different setups. The crankbait one, I was using, I forget the reel, but I was using a Shimano Intenza. For the crankbait, I was using, or for this other crankbait, like the rock crawler, and the DT, I was using like a Shimano Bantam. Also, I have 3 Shimano Intensas. I love those for cranking. And then for the chatterbait, I was also using a Shimano Intensa with a what reel did I have on that? It was either a Bantam or a Chronarch.
What's the power and action on the rod for your bladed jig? I'm really curious in this because it seems to be a very divisive kind of topic.
If I'm using a heavier, like 3/4, I like the 7.6. It's a medium heavy, but it's like a composite, like half glass. I like that longer rod because I can lean into them and I can put a lot of pressure on them. But if I'm using a lighter, like a 3/8 or maybe like that Mini Max, I'll use like a shorter, lighter rod, like a 7.2 medium or medium heavy.
Man, I can't do it. I've tried. That's why I brought it up because I tried. I was talking to Jimmy Reese. He's also on Douglas. I saw him. I met him at ICAST while I was there last year, and somehow that came up, and he was like, well, what do you throw on that? And I was like, oh, dude, I use like a 7.2 medium heavy fast or like a 7.4 kind of heavy fast. If I'm throwing a 1/2 ounce, he was like, why? Like, because when I set the hook, I'm not missing. He was like, yeah, but you're giving up action on it. I'm like,
Nah.
Maybe, all right, maybe there's something. I mean, Jimmy's like a legitimate pro, like been doing this for years. So I got another Douglas rod that was a little bit softer, kind of in that like medium range. Gave that a shot. Hated it. I missed every fish. I dropped every single fish that I set the hook on that day. It's him and I. It was like 5 or 6 fish right in a row, and I was like, nope, done. Give me my heavy rod back. I can't do this anymore.
To keep that pressure on him.
Yeah. Even Christian was like, "You like your rods really heavy, don't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "This is a punching rod." I'm like, "No, that's a chatterbait rod."
I don't know. Yeah, man, it all depends. I mean, I don't know. We throw straight fluorocarbon on ours too, and anywhere from 17 to 20 pound. Although lately been settling in, I think it's the 18.4 pound heavy cover from Defiant. What are you throwing on yours for most of your bladed jigs, especially on that particular setup?
I actually had 14-pound Sunline FC Sniper. I normally wouldn't go that light, but I had that rod set up more for a crankbait, and I ended up kind of just tiring the chatterbait on it. But ideally, I'll usually use between 14 and 16. 16 is usually better. Sometimes if I really, really want to get shallow in the dirt with it, I might go up to 18.
Yep.
But usually 16 is about right.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that a lot. I try to simplify my setups as much as possible.
What are you doing, puppy?
And
I'm sorry. Get out of here, puppy.
Uh-oh.
What are you all wet from?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. My
Pretty
dog's
long
all
week
wet
from-
and smells like a skunk.
Oh
That's
no.
not good.
All right, we can keep moving on. There was another question. I lost it, but I know my buddy Chris has it. There we are. Oh, there you go. Do you have anchor trolleys on your yak?
I do not, but I have a power pole.
Oh, how do you like that?
I like it for measuring the fish more than anything. I haven't really, like, I've only had it for a couple months, so I haven't got super comfortable with it.
Yep.
But I think in the rivers, especially the rivers around here, it could be a game changer.
I keep thinking about it because, like, I know Andrew and I have talked about it a few times about doing, like, a little, like, plastic boat build out. And I keep thinking about it. I was like, dude, if we're going to do that, like...
I have power poles.
We're going all out. Not those.
In the
two
current,
micros. What was that?
In the current, I think it would help a lot because I've been blown by that current a lot, and it gets annoying after a while.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, literally the only reason I would think about getting a boat that would use those is, like, places I can't put my bass boat in, which are... You just can't get in, period, with it. Or, I mean, there's going to be places that are, like, pretty damn shallow anyway. They're like, okay, I would get away with that. It would work. And they're like, you know, they're not that expensive. So, screw it. If we're going to build out a little plastic boat build, and we're going all out.
Yeah, I know. He sent me pictures of a boat yesterday.
Yeah. I was like, we should do it.
You got to get a jet boat.
Dude, I was looking at one. Not even kidding. I was looking at one. It was a 2001 Tracker jet boat for like freaking like $6,000. I was thinking about getting it.
Dude.
Do it. You get
I
one,
know.
let me know, and we'll come down and we'll fish the Susky. We'll have a good time out there in that thing.
Oh man,
I would
jet
love
boat
to go
heaven.
fish that. All I can think of is, like, anytime we talk about getting a jet boat, or like when he toys around with the idea of getting one, or we just talk about like how fun it would be, all I can think of is I would sign up for like every major tournament on the Connecticut River up here when it launches out of the Hinsdale section of the lower end, and we would be one of the 3 or 4 boats that can make it all the way to the top, where that smallmouth bite is just magical. There's like 2 guys that have a jet boat that fish like all the major tournaments on there, and they're the only guys that can run all the way up to the very top to the next dam below Bellows Falls, and they crush it. You know, it takes them, like, I think an hour and a half to get up there or something stupid like that, because you can't go, like, super fast in a lot of sections, and it's a pretty far run. But they come back with, yeah, I know, we would still go.
I would send the shit out of that thing, dude. You know what it feels like to jump a dirt bike, but in a boat?
Sean, why do you have motorcycle gear on over your life vest? Don't worry about it.
Because he's driving.
I'm going to make it there and back in one piece.
The boat won't.
Ooh, you can ask it. This is now we're in your alley. As much as I enjoy that, this
All
is
right. What is your favorite glide bait? Glide bait.
I probably have way too many glide baits for how much I throw them, but I have one that's like, it doesn't really have a name. It's like one I got off eBay that I caught a 6-pounder on in a boat tournament last year, and I caught a 5.5-pounder on fun fishing. The River to Sea S-Waver, it's cheap, but I've actually caught a lot of fish on that one. That's a good one. The Gancraft is good. That was the first one I ever had that I caught fish on. I have a couple right here actually that I want to try.
show and tell.
This one, the Grand Edge, I haven't got to throw it much yet. I really want to try this one. This is like the secret Japanese one. A lot of guys haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, what is that?
I like that. I like the size of that too at a 190.
If you watch the Japanese tournaments, all the guys are throwing these now. I mean, it floats, and I don't know if I should say this, but there's a technique with this that you can actually make this do a 360 in the water. And I've never seen any other bait be able to do that. It's really, really interesting.
I got a Depths 250 to do it once, but it was on accident.
that bait's designed to be able to do that. It's not very easy. I went out
That's
one
crazy.
day and just did that for hours, and I kind of got it down, but I haven't like caught a fish on it or anything yet. But I think there's going to be a time where that's going to be.
Uh-oh.
Wait, no, it's okay. He's back.
There he is.
That was quick. In and out. Out and in.
And I have this. I want to throw this one too. I think you guys will like this. This is the Bait Sanity. Oliver Nye actually inspired me to
Yeah.
try a lot of
Oh,
Bait
yeah.
Sanity. So I got this. I haven't even thrown this one yet, honestly. But
Yeah,
I think this one's gonna be a killer around here.
I'm legitimately ordering one when I get home.
Yeah,
I
we.
meant to do it on lunch today, but my mom actually came and brought pizza today,
Oh, nice.
so fed us all at lunch,
That's awesome.
and I did not get to order that.
Yeah, no, you and I have been talking about that because it looks good, and plus it has that ability to tune it.
And then
But
you
I have-
gotta have these. I mean,
Oh,
they aren't really glide baits, but
I
we all
know.
know how well these work.
TK Tiny Clash is next on my list, but then that Bait Sanity one is definitely high on my list too. I have the Explorer Gen 2 or the Gen 2 Explorer, and I love that. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is it sinks really fast. So like limited application for what I can and like to do with it. But I've caught 2 good fish on it now. Trying to think. But yeah, no, I want that other one because you can tune it, and everything that I've had from Bait Sanity so far I've been really impressed with. So
Me too. I have the Explorer Gill, which I've been impressed with. I haven't caught a fish on it, but I've got a lot of followers and had some good hits on it. But before I forget, if that bait's sinking too fast for you, you can get these things. I think it's called the Zappu board float or
yeah,
something.
I know
It's
what
a
you're
piece
talking
of styrofoam basically. You can glue onto the top of the bait, and it'll slow the fall a little bit. That might help with that bait.
Yep. No, I thought about doing that, but ultimately I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it as is because it's one of my fastest sinking glides. And we've been trying to play around with that a little bit in deeper water. I haven't done it as much as I had intended to last year, but I also blew the motor on my boat and couldn't go to a lot of places that I would have tried it out deep. So I ended up losing literally 3 months of the season where I would have wanted to fish it out deep. I couldn't do it. So I'm going to leave it as is. I've got enough slow and really, really slow and high floats. So I'll leave that one as a heavy, fast sink because it works well for that.
I like them all.
Yeah, I actually have my glide baits in here. They're not in my car for once. I have way too many glide baits for how much time I actually put into them. But yeah, here's a sneak peek. These are soft baits. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here's some glide baits. I got
Some.
This
You got
is
more
what
than
was
I do.
talking about. This is the eBay bait. Here's some depths. This is another eBay bait. Gantarelle. This is a really good bait.
I have
MS
that.
Slammer. Sean Place kills him on this MS Slammer right next to me.
Yeah,
I
he
can't catch
does.
a fish on it. I don't know how. This is the first glide bait I ever had. You can see the hook rash on that thing.
Is that an S-Wave or is that a Gantrel? I can't tell.
No, this is a Gancraft.
That's the
Gancraft.
game
Yeah,
craft,
okay. Yeah, Gantrel, Gancraft. Freedom Fishing, even the antidote isn't too bad. Yeah, no, dude. Those antidotes for the price they are, those are the first glides I got. Those and the S-Wavers. But the antidotes are the first ones I got. And they're for their price point, they're phenomenal.
They 7 inches?
Yeah, 7 or 7.5. I think 7.
Maybe closer to 8.
I remember I bought the yellow perch, the rainbow, the red craw, and I think that may have been it. But I remember playing with that rainbow was the first time I had started asking questions and understood how to do it. This was 3 years up on the place in Vermont. And that was that day I was up there solo and I saw one of the biggest bass of my life following it. And I got right, I just kept going real slow and it got right below my feet, right in front of the boat. And at the time, I was still thinking I still had to do the 180, and I 180'd it to go right in front of her face. And she was going from stern to bow on my boat, and then she quick whipped around, but then instead of turning to face the bait against the bank, which I would have assumed would have been the what would happen, oh cool, bait, yep, I'm hungry, I see it, let's corral it towards the bank. No, she went the other way. She put her butt to the bank and faced the boat. And I swear to God, she was looking at it. And then looked up at me and she's like, "Oh, haha!" and swam underneath my feet. I was like, "Why?" But it was on the antidote on that rainbow trout pattern. That one killed me. Still to this day it hurts. Oh no, not today, there, Snoop.
I think my favorite glide still has to be the 250.
I do like that.
I have too many of them. No, I don't have too many of them. Actually, I just bought an OG Depths 250, and I used it for the first time this weekend. It is very nice.
It
Very
is.
nice. And it sinks faster, a little faster than the newer one. Because I believe it's 7 ounces instead of 6.5.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because of the resin. It's not just plastic. So I can actually get it down and fish it super deep.
Yep.
Takes a little bit to get down still, but
Yeah, nothing swims as like methodically and nicely as the depth swim.
oh, dude, it's
It really is good.
I dream
It's
about it.
unbelievable.
So, all right, we've talked extensively about how this one individual tournament went. Well, sorry, not individual. This specific tournament went. What are the plans for the rest of the year? Are you fishing the whole Bassmaster Kayak series, or are you just kind of pick and choose? You got any other tournament trails you're doing?
I probably won't do Possum Kingdom because I don't know if I want to put 25 hours one way on my car at this point. But
that's a
I'm going to
hike.
try and do the rest of them. I was already planning on doing Gunnersville, even if I got $0 from this tournament. Definitely do the Susky because that's like about as close as they're ever going to come to me. It's only like 3 hours.
No, that's nothing. That's
and
day
then,
trip.
and then hopefully I can afford to go to Caddo because I've always wanted to go there. My buddy John Comedot went there and he raved about it. So I've always wanted to go there.
Nice.
And
Cool,
then
man.
I didn't plan on doing any Hobies because I was going to save all my money for Bassmaster. But now that I have a little bit of money, I'm going to try and do a couple Hobies. The Lake Norman one I'm really interested in doing.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
And maybe
like a lot of fun.
Cayuga. But Cayuga wasn't nice to me last year, so we'll see.
When is it for Cayuga?
First weekend in June, I believe.
I don't know, man. But the way everything is going right now, and if memory serves correct, Cayuga and Oneida are still both wide open. They didn't ice in at all. So come by that point, unless we have like the 5th consecutive year of a really, really, really funky spring up here in the Northeast, then that could be like a lights out good post spawn bite.
That could be. You could have a lot of fun there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out there and catch tank smallies.
Last year, they sprayed the grass in the area that I wanted to be in, so it made it pretty rough. And honestly, that was probably one of the worst tournaments I ever did in my life. Like, it was not fun.
That sucks.
But maybe I'll go back and try and get some revenge this year.
Yep. Hey, man, that's how it goes. You take the good with the bad. Everybody has.
You got to.
Oh, yeah. But you've got the best of the good at the moment.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last tournament, they say.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that we are. I was about to say to him, so don't fish any more tournaments. How good are you? Well, I'm as good as my last tournament. His Armos trophy. Jake, that was 30 years ago. Shut up. But the phrase.
Yeah, but where's your trophy?
If I'm only as good as my last tournament, I'm the best there was. Infallible logic.
And I'm gonna try to do as many NJ tournaments as I can, like in between the travel tournaments, because I just love seeing those guys. Like, I don't know, I just love getting there and talking to the guys. It's not like a national tournament where you're like stressed over everything. Like, you can just go out there and enjoy the day with the guys, talk to the guys. So I'll try and do as many of those as I can.
All right, man. I like it. Well, I tell you what, I wanted to keep this short because I know you've been all over the place. You had Bass and Brews earlier on before you jumped on me. I saw them post about it on TikTok while I was out on my lunch break today. I was like, oh, those bastards. So I was playing around with Alex. I was like,
oh yeah, they
hey,
told me
you ganked my guest.
They told me to ask you guys about a ham salad or something.
That's me. Dude, if you haven't had it, you gotta have it. It's so good.
No, you don't.
Dude,
You don't.
I actually toasted a bagel and put it on a bagel last night.
Well, okay. I mean, that's not bad, but
You can't say I've
it's
heard
still
of that.
bad.
Telling you, dude. I ate some weird shit. And ham salad ain't weird for me.
Like it's like a thing of pride with him. We'll be driving middle of nowhere, Vermont. We'll stop at a place and like you go in and you're like, oh dude, they actually got really good food here. Like, that's a great looking sub. Those burgers look good. The pizza looks good. And he's like, yeah, I got their ham salad. Come on.
That's awesome.
It's so good. People need to broaden their horizons.
Says the guy eating ham and mayo.
You put mayo on tuna fish sandwiches?
Well, yeah, but
You eat ham at Thanksgiving? Is that a ham holiday?
no, ham is typically
Oh, wait.
Easter.
Easter.
And actually Christmas. I guess technically you
Do
can
you
have
ever
it at
eat ham?
Thanksgiving too, but I've always
So
associated
you eat ham and you eat mayo.
with
Put them together.
I'll take your word for it.
massing and bassing. I'm going to try it, but it's your fault if my wife divorces me.
Not sorry about it at all.
Oh, God. Oh, what did Freedom Fishing say before we go here? What are you taking my prototype 3D printed Shiner Glide to Florida in a few weeks to test? Oh,
Dude, I was thinking about getting a 3D printer just to make molds.
yeah. You do that with a little Bondo and some sanding, because any 3D printer you'd be looking at would probably have like
Super gaps.
no, not gaps, just lumpy, bumpy. You know, like like they've come down in price so much that like your standard kind of desktop 3D printer probably prints in layers at like 5,000ths of an inch, which doesn't seem like a big layer until
Just
you
see,
actually
like, the
print it and you can see
mathematical
it.
equations going.
You'll literally see all the lines. And I mean, it's still relatively smooth, but for like a bait, it wouldn't be smooth. So you have to go through and sand it, and depending upon how it prints, if it's not like a perfectly flat square, like outer face, it might have a little radius to it. So it would like look like a little Michelin Man bait. So you would have to fill and sand too.
No, that's fine. I can do that.
Yeah, but regardless, it'll still save you a shit ton of time. So totally worth looking into. You're gonna spend pretty good money to get something that's like, printed at 1,000ths, 2,000ths of a layer.
Oh, Jesus.
With I could go down that road. That's in my realm, my mechanical engineering background. But anyway, man, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Food.
Before we go, like, take a moment, tell everybody about your YouTube channel and your social media. Like, let everybody know where they can follow you and everything.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook. It's just J Coucoules. Instagram is JC_fishing, and then world, like Juice World, WRLD. And that's the same for my YouTube. And I'm working on the YouTube video right now. I got like almost halfway through it earlier, and then I had to do a couple podcasts. But it's gonna be out soon. I'm working on it.
Nice, man.
I want to make this one as good as I can. I didn't want to try and rush through it, but
Yep.
it should be out soon. At least day one.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, people. Go find him on YouTube. Follow him. Same on Instagram. And yeah, man, I wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the season with your tournaments. And again, congrats on the win, because regardless of what level it is, winning is not easy. And you did it at the friggin' highest level you can. So
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. And yeah, I've been working really hard for this for a long time, and I've came up just short a lot of times. So it's great for it to all finally work out for once. I'm so appreciative.
Awesome, man.
nice, man. Proud of you. Happy for you.
Thank you guys. And
You're
yeah,
welcome.
tell Oliver I said hi next time you guys see Oliver. I'm a huge fan of Oliver.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely
dude.
will do. All right, before we really sign it off, man, it's your job, your role. Do your thing.
What am I doing?
Sign her off.
All right. See ya.
Adios.
Adios. Yes, that's my word.
I forgot your stack of papers again. I'm sorry.
We need a stack of papers. Anyway, we will see you guys next week, as always, at youtube.com/@ReelNorthernBass.
Do you want to tell them who's going to be on next week?
No.
Okay, fine. Come back next week. Find out.
Come back
nerds.
next week. We got a special guest coming on. We will see you guys next week.
Everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you again.
Adios.
All right. Adios.